Yeah. What's up, mechanics? We're bringing you a special treat, man. We've been talking about that documentary, and we brought you the makers of that documentary. Here they are, DJ Breeze and DJ Bonds, the creators of Where We're From, Rise of LA Underground Hip Hop. What's up, fellas?
What's up? What's up, y'all?
What's good? What's good?
Lou.
Yo, so my man E Green is from the East Coast, right? So I'm sure he loved watching that documentary just now and seeing what we had going.
So you want this fresh take, this fresh eyes off the screen?
I do, but hold on. I just want to say one thing to you brothers before. Me watching it was literally, and I told you this, Bonds, is literally like watching my life again, like looking like back in, like the only way it could have been more is if I was in it. You know what I mean? Like I felt like I was at that show. I was there. I remember this. I remember that. We'll get into some of that stuff. So for me, I literally shed tears, bro. I'm not even exaggerating. I was like, damn, bro, like, you know, just the whole thing. So, but let's get into it. Let's get E Green's hot take, and then we're going to start picking your brains a little bit. So what's your hot take, E Green?
Yeah, first and foremost, thank you for making this documentary, yo. This is, it's incredible. It's like, you know, hip hop right now is universal basically, right? But there was a time when hip hop was like really small, and it was like just a piece of the world that nobody else cared about. So what you guys did was you took it back to that time, and I don't care where you're from, East Coast, West Coast, wherever, you felt the energy of what you guys put forth in that documentary. The work, the sweat, the blood, sweat, and tears that was behind the scene of making this shit happen. Being there at the forefront, believing in yourselves, working with family and friends to get this done, yo. It just embodies what hip hop is in this beautiful West Coast way. Thank you for finding all of that footage and all of that, man, because it felt like I was right there with y'all, because it was artists that I heard and saw on there I was very familiar with, even from the East Coast, because as you can see, this is what I do as well. It's just I live and breathe hip hop, right? So
right.
wherever it's coming from, we're gonna receive it. So we did on the East Coast, we did receive what you guys were putting forth, but to see this in a documentary, a very well done documentary, is just a beautiful thing. And thank you for that.
No, thank you. Thank you, man.
Very, very surreal for us. We're like, you know, we know we had something, you know what I'm saying, but we weren't sure how it was going to be received. You know, to be honest with you, we really didn't know how it was going to, but we knew it had to come out. We know the story had to be out there, you know. And so to get the feedback we're getting is, the best word to put is just surreal. You know, there are times where I'm just speechless. I don't even know what to say, you know.
Well, you guys did it right, because it, you know, obviously Elements was such an important part of our scene, but you did incorporate like the whole story, like shining a light on Bigger B and Unity and all those things, bro. Like when J. Rue the Damager was talking, and I remember being like just a young kid going to that J. Rue the Damager show at Unity, and just being in the crowd, and then like some dude bust through me and I wanted to fight, and I look up and it's motherfucking Guru, and he runs on stage. I'm like, oh shit. So like all those things are flashing in my mind as I'm watching the documentary. So I love that it is about Elements and how vital that is, but it really represents all of us, you know, the West Coast. It feels like something, like I feel proud of it. You know what I mean? Like I was a part of that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When we originally, you know, we're like, okay, we're gonna make a film about Elements, because we're seeing footage of our stuff in other films.
Yeah.
And there's no mention of anything. And but as we started just barely getting our feet wet into the film, we realized like we can't talk about us without talking about Unity.
Yeah.
And what else inspires, not just Unity, but like Water the Bush, Funk Jungle, Brown Rice and Barbecue. These were places that I frequented, you know, and so did Bonds, you know. Water the Bush, I remember it being, I think, off Sunset and Western. That's where, you know, we used to go. And Graveyard Shift was also another spot that I used to hit. And so you had all these spots before Elements that were very vital. And of course, Unity was, you know, Unity. And like we said in the film, Bigger B used to come to Unity. I mean, used to come to Elements.
Yeah.
And we were like, we were geeked.
Yeah.
But yeah, we couldn't talk about Elements without talking about that, because we drew inspiration from what Bigger B did. We did. So, and we just tried to carry the torch.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it, is like they laid a foundation, and it's kind of how hip hop has always gone, right? Like we can build off of what our forefathers did, and that's exactly what y'all did with Elements, So it was great to see that. And I did like that you included all the other spots that were going on, because obviously you could have just talked about Unity and it bridges perfectly to Elements. But like you said, you brought up all those other ones that were like, a lot of people don't know about those other ones. Like everyone, like a lot of people know about Unity. Not a lot of people know about like the other ones you mentioned. Like I think you even talked about Radiotron too, didn't you?
Yeah, Radiotron. We had Darlene Ortiz up in there, and I remember I was too young at first, but then I finally turned of age where I went to it, and it was phenomenal. Yeah. And I remember there was a spot called Orbit that I didn't get to go to. There was also United Nations, which the Soul Brothers used to rave about, talking about some of the most incredible dancers used to be there. Yeah. And we're talking, and those are spots that I was even too young to go to. So LA has always had this scene, and we wanted that to be known. Like LA has always had this scene. It's just always seems to be brought up with gangster rap, and which is, phenomenal too. But we're not just that,
Yeah, I think us like indie or art, underground artists or whatever you want to call it, we've kind of been shouting that for a while. Like, yo, there's more to LA, than gangster rap. Like you said, we love it. Don't get us wrong, but we here too. We doing our thing too.
And from the East Coast perspective, we, again, like I said, if you were in the know, if you were in hip hop, you knew that there was more than those cats that was getting played out here or talked about, for that matter. Which is why we knew about the Delta Homo sapiens and all that kind. We knew about it. So. Yeah. I want to ask a question, because again, I'm fresh off the screen.
Okay. No, please.
When you were, and again, this is just a question like as a fan right now. Mm-hmm. But when you were deciding to make this documentary, there was some tension. There's always tension when you're building something. Mm-hmm. But were you able to have discussions amongst yourselves and people involved, and was everybody happy to be a part of this?
Bonds, you want to take that?
No, I'm thinking the story of why you became a director on the film. I think that's the perfect segue, because there's a position with that. So that I think that's a good segue of
So Bonds insists that we direct, and I'm totally against it. All right. So and that's one, that was one tense thing. He just really felt strongly that we should direct. And I'm a person who, like, I respect people that of their craft. I've never directed before. Yeah, I know what a good film should look like. Of course, we all do. We're all fans of film, right? But in his eyes, he was like, who's going to tell the story better? And I remember us arguing about it. And we never really get into arguments, much. But when we do, usually, he's gotten this far for a reason. He's a very, level-headed dude, and usually he's like, all right, let's let Breeze have his way or whatever. But this time he kept fighting me on it, like, no, we gotta direct. I even brought up Stretch and Bobbito, Radio That Changed Lives, which is a great documentary. Yep. They told their story to a director, and then the director took it from there, and it came out great. He kept insisting, and I kept fighting him on it, but then eventually I told myself, okay, he never fights me on anything this hard. And I'm like, so I called him up and said, all right, let's do it. Let's direct. And of course, to this day, I'm still like, yo, thank you for convincing me. Thank you for fighting me on that, because he knew already, like, we could do it like that. But there was also some tension because we didn't speak for a few years either after Elements. So we had to kind of squash that too. I know he can touch on that better, but
yeah, I think talking about our stories, it's personal, you know what I mean? So we had to do a couple takes. And so we made an agreement. We weren't going to be in the same room, with the cameras rolling, so we could really breathe, So hearing him say some stuff, him probably hearing some stuff I would say, you know, there was a little more, oh, okay, you felt like that, you know what I mean? You know, but you know, we were able to take, I think, some personal stuff and put it out there, but not going over the top because it's still a very much a hip hop story,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Just straight up, it's to me, it's a pretty cool.
Dope. It was needed for us to do that, though. After we did that, though, we seemed to really just become that machine again. You know, like we were back in Elements.
That's dope.
You know, so yeah.
From
there definitely was that.
From our perspective, watching it that personal element added that much more to it. Like knowing, like, you know, because I come from LA Symphony, we're all brothers, but I can tell you plenty of stories too where we're like, man, I will fuck you up right now. Like, you know, you get these, I ain't talked to that dude in a year, like whatever. So putting that in, it's like, it makes it that much more real and that much more like, oh man, you know, we're rooting for you guys in the story and all that. You know? So it's I'm glad you did it. You know, that's the best part a lot of times about these documentaries is when you really just feel the heart and soul of the people that put it together. You know what I mean? So glad y'all did that.
And did you guys compile all of the that archival footage yourself?
Bond's got a story for that.
Yeah. I you know, back in the day, Dr. Rachel Ramis would come through and she would always have a camera. And my main thing was like, you come through and you be on stage, you get all the footage. One day I'm going to ask for it. One day and just come through. So I did that with several cameramen, you know, but Dr. Rachel Ramis, she was like the main person. I ended up finding this tape of a show of Dilated Peoples back in '98 at Elements. And found a couple of things. I found like Reflection Eternal, Our Least Party That We Threw, and just different dope, like little hip hop moments. And I was like, somebody gonna pay me money for this. I'm gonna slang this shit. How can I make money off of it? You know? Sorry for cussing.
No, cuss away, bro.
Okay, yeah. How I make some money off of this shit? So, you know, I call up Mark Love. I was like, I tell him what I have. He's like, I don't know how to make money off it, but I know Adrian Young's gonna know how to make money off it. I pick up Mark Love. We go to Adrian Young's record shop, and he's like, "Bro, tell me what you got." And you know, he keeps asking questions, and story after story is pouring out of me about what went down and the bullshit I had to do for this venue or that venue, or you know, just stories. You know, just came pouring out of me. And he was like, "Brother, you don't sell this. You need a camera, and you got to tell the story." And it's all his fault. Straight up. It's fault. You know,
it's Adrian Young's fault.
Thank you, Adrian.
You know.
Yeah, that's a trip, man. Yeah, I mean, I learned a lot because like I didn't know that dude was your cousin. You know, the one that was I remember seeing him like around every time I went, or you know, maybe
Damon.
not every time. Damon, yeah. And then it's like he pops up in the movie. Yeah, it's my cousin. Like you hear that story, and I'm like, oh, that dude. You know, like I remember that guy. Or like, you know, because you know, we're talking about, you know, 20 years ago now.
Big up to Damon. Damon gave us the money to start it all.
Yeah.
He was like, he was basically like, I believe in y'all and go do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. In a nutshell.
and I have a little side story. Like I've been
please.
in the music industry. I worked for the Recording Industry Association. The want to sue everybody. Anyway.
RIA.
Yeah. I used to be over there. But
it's all good.
I would come to LA all the time for work and whatnot. And it was one day I was just walking down the street out of the blue and I walked upon Fat Beats Records. And I don't know, maybe you gentlemen were in there. I don't know, but I just want to say that was one of the most amazing experiences in my life. Was it
on Melrose or Vermont? Do you remember?
I think it was on Melrose.
Then I wasn't there anymore.
It was on the second floor? Was it on the second floor?
No. It was like I was walking down the street. It was on the first floor. It was like
So it was Vermont.
Oh, that's Vermont. That's Vermont.
Then, yeah.
Vermont. My bad.
Then I was there. Then I was there.
But I went to the second floor one too. But that was later.
Yeah.
But having been to Fat Beats East and Fat Beats West, man, I wear that badge proudly. You know what I'm saying? Thank you guys for that. Again, it's just a blessing to be able to see you guys put this together for people who really love hip hop, not what is called hip hop. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of things get called hip hop, but when you see, you can feel the energy of what a lot of us call hip hop, man. And I hope this thing just takes off unbelievably.
Yeah.
Like way further than whatever your word surreal is. I hope it goes way further than that because it needs to be seen by people that love this culture.
I hope folks get inspired to create spaces like that, to pass the torch and for generations to continue to practice hip hop. Like when I see DJ battles now and they sponsored by big companies, or breakdance battles sponsored by big drink companies and shit, that's cool. It's dope that there's some kind of money being, injected and that, folks can shine, but we all should be in the same room practicing hip hop together.
Yeah.
So, when me and Silas are on 4 turntables cutting it up and going crazy, I got a circle in front of me of dancers going crazy. Around the corner, people are smoking weed, doing battles back and forth with each other. And at the same time, we go to the drink and try to pick up on a shorty right there. You know what I mean? So it's just something about that is just beautifully hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
We need to be all in the same room, cheering each other on. Like when the dancers are going at each other, the MCs were like, "Oh shit," and they would like, you're rooting for the culture. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And at the end of the night, the battles will be like at 1 o'clock in the morning to 2, right? It took us about 45 minutes to get through all the rounds or whatever. And the dancers stayed, even though there was no circle anymore, because everyone stood and basically booed the dude if he was whack to get off stage.
Yeah.
There ain't no participation trophies in this shit, right?
Nah.
So, the dancers stayed. We supported each other in our crafts. You know what I'm saying? And we were in the same room. I want that to happen again.
Yeah.
And it can't be me doing it. To be real clear. Stop that. We ain't gonna bring it back. Yo, I put my time in. I put my time in. Someone else step up.
We're done. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
We're done.
I feel that. And I feel like, there are patches of it, but maybe nothing has sprung up in quite the same way yet as a Elements or a Unity or any of these types of events, but it's not to say that won't happen, man. But you were, as you were talking, I was thinking about something. I feel like freestyle dancing is almost kind of like a lost art too. Cause motherfuckers were not break dancing. You know what I mean? That was the most beautiful, like that's the most dancing I ever personally did, was like freestyle dancing and shit. And it was such a beautiful just expression, bro. And I feel like when I think of it, I do think of Elements a lot. Cause I feel like that was such a key part of what was going on in there, those dancers, man. And I have vivid memories of dudes. I'd be like, well, I'm about to stop dancing because these dudes are like on another level, bro. I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
But that's really dope too. So what are some of your favorite moments? Okay, here's like a twofold question.
Okay.
What were some of your favorite moments making the documentary? And then as looking back, what were some of your favorite moments of the Elements days?
Ooh.
You go first, Breeze.
Oh boy. There's just, and I hate to sound cliche but there is so many.
Of course.
I think, because we did the concerts at the El Rey Theater, and then we had our weekly. So let's establish that for your audience is that we were running a weekly, and then so each place has like what's in the film, the Fife battle that spontaneously happened at Elements on just and that still to this day is brought up to me by people on the street. So I would say that is just an incredible moment. And then I'd have to put I guess I'm promoting here again because another part in the film is at the El Rey, just seeing Souls of Mischief command that crowd the way they did. And there's a little backstory to that too. Like Afu Ra ended up being the headliner because he was just really hot at the time with Undefeated, the DJ Premier beat and all that, and we couldn't keep it in the Fat Beats. So we had Souls before Afu Ra, and they quickly reminded us that we shouldn't do that, because they just destroyed the place. And when Afu Ra came out, it kind of sucked the life out of his show.
Yeah, it was like,
and I just remember like, wow, I was like, that is just, that is stage. To be able to command a crowd like that, I think is people take that for granted, and the way the crowd was yelling back at them, like having participation, it was just beautiful to see that. So that's like one of my favorite moments.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been on both ends of that. I've been on that. Yeah, we got him in the palm of our hand. And then I remember
when you guys performed the Elements.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that. Yeah, well, go ahead.
You guys. No, well, I mean, I'm just saying, you guys killed it. You guys
was it the one at
stopped
Gaba? At Gaba?
Yeah, you guys were at the Gaba.
Yeah, I remember.
And you guys had the 12 out, and we couldn't keep that at Fat Beats either.
Yeah, man, that was a good time, bro. Yeah.
And when I was at Stacks, we couldn't keep it in there either. You know, best believe. No, best believe.
That's what's up, man.
LA Symphony, man. LA Symphony.
We was in it. So Bonds, how about you? What's your answer?
You know, some things we have footage for, some things we don't, right? So like, you know, things of like, for instance, this dude Loud, he made me, I used to, you know, I was a guy who was the DJ for the MC battles. So I always had to kind of like, you know, make sure I had specific instrumentals that MCs can bust on that didn't have a lot of scratching or whatever, that were just good for a battle. You know what I mean? So I had to be real strategic with my beats and stuff. And so I used to play this Ghostface Killer 1 beat. And my brother Loud destroyed that beat so bad, I had to retire the beat. I had to retire the record. I refused to play that beat ever again for any other MC to touch because the way he.
I remember that.
And see, stuff like that I wish I had on camera or whatever, but it just, like even a fight battle, we wish we had it on camera. All we were lucky to get the pictures just to show proof that it really did happen. You know what I'm saying? Then obviously his you know, best friend and manager, Rasta Root, came through and did the interview for us. And Fife was supposed to interview with us, you know, before he passed, unfortunately, you know. So all love to the crew, Jerobi, and you know, we were all tour brothers, you know. When I was on tour with Mystic, we spent months together, you know, touring. So there's just a real bond, you know, between, you know, folks, you know what I'm saying? So
I love that.
So as far as club, there's that. As far as making the doc, I think it was just the fact that people picked up the phone call and did it for free. I didn't pay nobody.
Oh, I love that.
I interviewed like almost over 100 people, not a single person that I have to pay, and go over to their home, set up cameras, be there for hours, or even they come to my home and be here for hours talking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
you had paid it forward, brother. You had paid that already by presenting the opportunity.
I feel that, but you know, it's kind of like, you know, I'm the promoter dude, even though I never wanted to be the promoter dude at all, and there's a story behind that, you know, but. You kind of, you know, you want to make sure you're not just that slimy promoter dude. You don't want to be known as that.
Yeah.
You know? I don't want to be known as that, you know, to be honest with you. So,
it really speaks to, you know, it's a testament to the relationships that he built and that we built, you know, over the years.
Yeah.
When people were just like, yeah, let's do it. So yeah, it really shows how we built, you know.
And how long did it take? I'm sorry, Cook.
No, go ahead.
How long did it take to from beginning of production to actually the film in the can? How long was that process?
Shit, what is that, Bonds? Like 5 years?
I would say 6.
Yeah, I've been hearing about it for a while. I remember when y'all started talking about it and started the like Instagram accounts for it and shit. And you know, we've been waiting for it.
I'll probably do it a different way next time. I'll probably like just be behind the scenes making stuff happen and one day just pop up on you. But I think our first interview was in 2014 with Pharrell Munch, and it was such a bad interview we could never show it. It was. I mean, you know what the hell we were doing. Like, you know.
Oh man.
You know, shout out to Pharrell Munch.
It was such a terrible interview.
Yeah,
Pharrell Munch. It wasn't you. It was us. It was.
It's not you. It's me.
All our fault. So, but
you're like planes. You're traffic.
Yeah,
like that struggle
bad.
Yeah,
it was hella bad. But 2015, we started really doing interviews, and we did about 2 years just grinding out interviews from 2015 to 2017. And we took a break and just really kind of, what do we have here? You know what I'm saying? And that's about the time Rod G, or one of the main editor of the doc, came on board and really kind of helped us with formulate a little bit of our story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we went out and did some more interviews, spent about a year of editing and then a year of legal, you know. So shout out to DJ Revolution, who helped us, you know, he created 60 plus beats that were like the bed music. You know? So we didn't have to clear any samples or any of that shit.
Yeah, but it was nice, like, you know, it sounds almost like, you know,
yeah,
Jerry the Damager.
You know exactly what we did.
It's beautiful.
You know what
I
we
love
did
it.
with it.
Yeah, I love it.
So shout out to Rev for that. And then, you know, obviously the pandemic hit us. You know what I'm saying? We would have been out. You know what I'm saying? We had a whole, like, literally, and that week when Tom Hanks announced, you know, he got it, and the 2 NBA players announced they got it. Like that first beginning of the pandemic, we were just about to book our plane tickets for our college tour out in DC.
Man.
And so it's like, you know, we woulda, coulda, shoulda, but you know, obviously
Right.
the world changed and we adjusted. And the new release date was August 24th. And when I heard that date, I was like, Kobe Bryant Day. There's something so LA about releasing an LA documentary on Kobe's day.
I
That
love
it was
it.
like
Yeah.
divine. It was like, yo, it was all meant to be. It was all meant to be exactly how it went down.
I
You know?
love that. Yeah, I
Mhm.
love that. So I'm gonna share a moment, and I noticed it didn't make it in the film. It might have been either the night that LA Symphony played in the GABA, one of the times, or it might have been just the time I was there. But it was during the battles, and I want to know if you guys remember this. Okay. Obviously, Otherwise was trucking through everybody, right? He was beating everybody. There was one night.
Yeah, he had a good run.
Yeah. Do you guys remember Otherwise battling Spontaneous?
Oh, well, I think
Because-
they battled more than once.
Yeah, I feel like they battled
Maybe.
times.
So there's a
Yeah.
particular time where
I don't remember a particular battle, but I
I
remember
do.
them battling, but not a particular one.
'Cause-
But I do remember them battling more than once.
Oh, okay. So the time
Yeah.
the one time I remember is because, man, this was a night that Spontaneous clearly got him. Like, no question about it. Like, he got him. I mean, he was killing him.
Mm.
And you know, Otherwise was the crowd favorite at the
Right.
time, you know, because he was winning. And LA said we was just in the back, like watching it all go down. And we're like, oh, Spontaneous about to win because he's killing him right now. And then just watch the crowd just like give it to Otherwise. And we're like, no, man, no, this is like a robbery right now, bro. And like Spawn, he just looked like he knew he won too. He was like, yeah. And he, what? Like, just to see that energy just go still to, I was like, full respect.
Man.
I mean, I don't want to battle you Otherwise. You're going to tear me up. But my man's got you tonight, bro. Like, I feel like he knew too, but I was just wondering if you guys remember that story, because I never forget that story.
Sorry, I personally don't.
Nah, no worries.
I personally don't. Yeah. And we don't have footage of you guys, as far as I know.
Yeah.
We
Well,
don't.
We don't have any footage.
There's so many folks like Styles of Beyond, Ugly Duckling. That just there's certain folks that
Right.
you know LA, you know, heads, and we just don't have the footage, you know. So
yeah, no worries.
No, we did our best with.
We wish we did.
Yeah.
Well, you guys
That's
had
for
plenty,
sure.
and you made a fantastic movie. So I mean, you had what you needed, and it is what it is. It's beautiful. And I did notice that y'all was recording over at my man DJ Hydro's house, so we got to shout him out, bro. Because you know, we recorded the first 2 years of this podcast in that same room that y'all was recording your interviews.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That, I mean, what a hip hop. I mean, that
Oh,
room
no.
was
Same
crazy,
room,
bro.
right?
Yeah.
Well, we did a set of interviews, and when we watched them, we were like, "This is not working." And then Bonds hooked it up at Hydro, and as soon as I walked in, I was like, "Oh, this is it."
I know. That's how we
this is it,
Yeah.
and it just looks beautiful on camera. So yeah, big up
you guys
him
got
and Jeannie and the whole family.
I know,
they're beautiful.
Man. They're the best.
Love those
bro.
folks.
Yeah,
no, we love them, bro. They took care of us for 2
good
years,
people.
man.
Yeah, good
absolutely.
people.
And you guys got and I saw in that same room, you guys got my man Dave New York. Rest in peace, man. I love seeing him in the movie, man. It's like those are the types of things. Like it's more than just elements. It's like you capture like these people that meant something to us, you know, meant something to a group of people, and it's forever, you know, it never goes away now. It's like this documentary is like a piece of history that never goes away. And I love that, man. You know, I'm really happy you guys did that.
If you know, I mean, for those who were lucky enough to know him, you know, he really cheered for you. You know, Dave New York, he really cheered for you. And, you know, when we met him, it was just like, you know, a lost brother that we had just met. So, yeah, and he lived near my mom. So I would, you know, stop through and see him every now and then when I would visit my mom. And, that particularly Dave, man, I mean, it really hurt when he left because it was like,
of course,
man.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's why I think like all these things are important, because I mean, obviously one day we're all not going to be here, but to have this thing where people can look back, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kids, grandkids, or people that don't even know us, and you could have this documented time in history where this thing happened. Right. It's there. We see the people, we see the stages, we see, you know, you guys pull that show off before De La Soul, you know, before the sun goes, all of those things, they're there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's really, for us, that's really exciting. I got to imagine that's exciting for y'all too. And
it is. I mean, just finishing the project, like I said, I never thought I'd do this in my life, direct a film, you know, much less with one of my friends.
Yeah.
You know, so when we finished the film, I told him, I was like, I feel like a millionaire already. You know, I was like, this is everything from here on out is icing on the cake, you know, so which is still like phenomenal, you know, the reaction. But just being able to start something that big, 6 years of hard labor, and then to finally see it like you know, I told him, I was like, man, I'm already successful, you know.
Yeah, man.
We're already successful.
Hey,
so
Bonds, he cried in the car after you saw the movie.
Hey.
You cried at the film, didn't you?
We've gotten several people that said they've cried, and I was like, wow, really? I was like, so it's not just me.
No, yeah, because bro, this is our life, bro. You know how like we still live it, but back then, being young, just going for broke, that's all I lived and breathed, bro, and it meant everything to me.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm seeing it, and even though I'm not in it, I was in it, and I was there, and I remember it. So I feel all those emotions. You look back on your life, you're like, God, those are some beautiful times, bro. You can't help but shed a tear. You know what I mean?
Something about seeing yourself on screen, right? It's like, you know, TV shows, film, you know, you always have this projection of, you know, black men or black and brown men in jail, or, you know, you just always have these certain perceptions that are out there. So the story of hip hop is always about Biggie and Pac and Dre and Death Row and Bad Boy. And it's always the same regurgitating stories over and over and fucking over again. So just to have something that's something else, you know, when Cube was like, the kids with the funny haircuts in the circle or whatever, he's talking about me. I'm that kid. I'm that dude with the funny ass haircut dancing my ass off. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, when you walk down the street, you get fucked up by the cops. And I had to literally dance to prove I was a dancer, because we were walking with a crew of folks. Because LA, you know, the gang thing, you know, so like 92, literally have to like bust some moves to prove I was a dancer and not a gang member. And then you get hit up by the gang members who say, yo, where you from? And you just gotta make sure you're not wearing the wrong shit, obviously. And then how you respond is everything. You know what I'm saying? To not get your ass beat. So I felt like our community, the people who have similar stories like me, like you're seeing yourself on the screen just a little
100%.
bit. You know what I'm saying? 100%. So it's like on some real LA shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I love that, bro. Anything West Coast, man.
Well, I think to add to that, and to add to what you were saying, Cookbook, we just scratched the surface.
Yeah,
we put a lot in this film. We put a lot in it, but we just scratched the surface.
Of course.
And like you said, like you're not even there's so many. So we're excited also about the potential for future work as well. You know what I'm saying? Because we're like, this is just, we're just tapping this in. One thing we learned as directors on the job is you have to compromise. You know, you have your story and you're on this path, and if you stray from that path, you can mess up the whole movie. So there were many stories that, you know, Bonds would come up with, or I would come up with, that we were like, these are great, but does it fit in the context of the story? Does it fit in the whole rhythm of the entire film? And no, it doesn't. Yeah. And there was a lot of times where we were gritting our teeth, like just trying to find a way to fit a circle into a square. You know, and we're like, it doesn't work. But we're like, go ahead, brother.
No, I was going to say the otherwise story could have ran 20 minutes, because we had so many other sub stories behind that about basically, you know, black MCs feeling like, you know, you're doing all this and you got maybe an audience that doesn't look like you, right? You know what I'm saying? So some of those dynamics, or dumbing down your lyrics to make it. And certain folks like, you know, Bishop Lamont, shout out, like he did amazing interview with me. I didn't get a chance to put some of his perspectives working with Dre. You know what I'm saying? Like there was so many other things. That segment could have been almost 20 minutes long with the other kind of sub stories behind that, on dumbing it down and what it takes to be successful, and well, why did Exhibit make it as opposed to, you know what I'm saying? Like it was just so many different things that we could have touched on, right? And those are things like, all right, let's focus. You know, the focus is this, right. You know, and this may be a part of this doc series that we could create or something like that. You know,
right. or little, you could do little like YouTube clips or different little things like bonus materials.
Something.
Yeah.
Like I said, we just scratched the surface and we're like, man, we have all this leftover, you know?
Yeah.
It's like the leftover turkey dinner after the day after Thanksgiving, you know, like you got all this great food left
so you make a
over,
sandwich,
like,
yo.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
So we're gonna make some sandwiches.
Yeah, that's what's up.
It ain't gonna be the full meal, but we can fuck up some sandwiches, right?
Hey,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Bonds, you touched on something that I want to highlight, which is you were talking about how the otherwise part could be a lot longer. When they show that Rap Olympics clip, they always show Eminem's verse, right? It's always like Eminem at Rap Olympics, right? And we all know what happened, but I love that you show it in the movie that otherwise got his ass, you know what I mean? And that he lost that battle, you know, and he's not like he hides it, but I'm saying like the perception is you just hear that verse, like here's another one of Eminem's dope freestyles or whatever.
Right.
But I love like West Coast again, you know, here we go. Like we got that one too, you know.
Well, it was a struggle just trying to find the footage, right? Because it you know, well, Breeze probably has some stories about what went down, and you know.
Hold on one second. No, go ahead, brother.
But you know, I was like, yo, if we could just grab the clip, grab something that Eminem, you know, admitting that he lost, you know, so he did the interview on Sirius XM with LL, and it was clear as day, you know, what went down. So it was just, you know, kind of stamping what went down, you know what I'm saying? And then again, that story, you know, from AC alone to all these different heads and who were there that night has so much more to say. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, well, fuck. Now the Rap Olympics shit is like 15 minutes long. Like, you know, so we could tell, we just had to touch a little bit and just to get the point across of what went down, what was important. You know what I mean? So it was tough. You know, this directing thing is like, God damn, you know.
It's only an hour and a half, so I know there's way more footage than an hour and a half. And look at this.
If y'all can see the screen, that's the path to get into Rap Olympics.
He got the receipts, bro. He got the receipts.
He was there.
I was there, and I'll tell you this, man. I'll tell you this: those cats who came into town were not expecting LA heads to be that dope.
Yeah,
and it was basically Project Blow.
Yeah,
it was basically Project Blow, and they were like, "Oh, okay."
Like, whoa.
Yeah, like we're actually gonna have to battle here. And it was AC Alone, LA Cool. Who else? Otherwise, I forgot. I think it was Riddler.
Yeah.
I was there, and I witnessed the whole thing. And don't get me wrong, it wasn't like Wise demolished. It was a great battle. It was a great battle. There was an Elements moment like where people couldn't decide who won, and they did go extra rounds.
Yeah,
they were extra rounds, but eventually we were like, "Yo, Wise is killing him."
I love
Wise is killing him. So, and I was there, I saw it. So, and it was funny because when he came out, My Name Is wasn't even out yet. It wasn't even out yet, but everybody, it's the business, everybody knows each other.
Yep.
So everybody was like, "Oh, that's Dre's boy. That's Dre's new, that's Dre's new artist." So everybody knew who he was.
Yeah.
So it was.
I remember him. I remember, without getting too into it, but I remember him hitting the West Coast even before Dre, like before the blonde hair and all that shit. He'd be around little events popping up and shit.
Yeah.
And the Wake Up, not the Wake Up Show. Sway. He would always be on Sway and Tech a lot, freestyling with Juice and stuff. So he was around, But anyway, whatever. I don't want to derail the conversation. Is there anything?
All good.
Is there anything we missed? E Green, is there any questions you got? I don't want to hold these brothers up too much longer.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to get it now because I got a struggle plane going by right now. But I do have a question. I'm gonna let the struggle plane go by.
It's all good.
Hear that?
It's all good. It's yours, man.
No doubt. I don't know how these things stay in the air sounding like that. That's real talk. But anyway, I don't want to fly on nothing like that. But anyway, I was enjoying the footage of the actual battles because there's a battle scene now, right? But to me, to my eyes and ears, it's different. It's a different kind of battle than the battles that you were part of and showed, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Do you think that it's like that we could just call it another branch off of the battle rap tree, or is it something totally different? Well, and just a little background. I'm saying the battles that you were part of, there was music, The people were rhyming to the music about the other people and all that kind of stuff. And now the way it's done now, I don't think there's music. It's more how many bad things can I say, or how many guns can I use? Right. Yeah, and that's fine. That's fine because there's a huge market for that. But does it relate at all?
There's almost like another segment that didn't make the doc, as far as like expanding upon the, J. Rue called it spoken word. So J. Rue's kind of dissing it, right? Dale is a fan of it, and it was kind of interesting to have this back and forth. These are just things, I remember, some of these interviews they gave us gold, what they're talking about, you know what I mean? So, I think it's incredibly hard, to, right in front of you, come up off the top of the dome with whatever beat that DJ put on, see someone for the first time, and then take that dude out. I think there's a certain skill set for that. But I wouldn't dismiss the other skill set of who you're going to battle, and you still have to come up with the rhymes to make sure that you win. So there's still a level of work ethic or something that needs to take place for that to happen. Now you might be able to Google that person and get all kinds of dirt on them. So there may be some cheat codes there. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, there's still some work that's being done. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's just different perspective.
I tend to kind of agree with him too. I'm not really a fan of it, but I enjoy when I do watch it. But I don't call it hip hop. You know what I mean? I definitely think it's a branch of hip hop. It's obviously taken aspects of hip hop, but when I think of a hip hop battle, I think of with the DJ, with the beat. Right. But I do think with what they're doing, it does require some talent. For sure. And like I said, when I do watch it, when it happens to be on, I'm like, oh, that was dope, but I don't call it a hip hop battle, or, I would call it a spoken word battle or a rhyme battle that has taken an aspect of hip hop battling, Yeah, no doubt. That's just me.
Well, I feel that, because that's how we came up, bro. Like we came up rapping the beats, freestyling off the top, going at each other, whatever, That's what they do, but that's not what we do where we're from.
No,
you know what I mean?
That's right.
So did we miss anything at all, guys? Is there anything else you want to cover before we get out of here? Obviously see the film, so please let them know where they can see the film, how they can follow y'all, like where do you want them to go? All the socials, all of that for sure.
Apple TV, Amazon Prime Video, obviously, and then Google Play as well.
Nice.
And then make sure you follow the Elements Instagram, which is Elements DOC. D as in David, O.
Okay.
C as in cat, short for documentary. Elements Doc, we're on. And then my IG is DJ Breeze.
DJ Breeze.
Yeah, and my IG is DJ Bonds 007. But also the website www.elementsdoc.com, because everything's there. The single that we have with DJ Revolution is there.
Yeah.
I'm just finalizing merch. So I'll finally have some merch out, that kind of thing. So if you go to elementsdoc.com, there'll be a link to where you could go watch the film, listen to the new single with DJ Revolution, Planet Asia, and hopefully some merch will be up there by the end of the week.
That's what's up, man. Well, just know over here at Felipe's Garage, you got supporters, man. Anything you guys need, just let us know. Let me know, anything you need. If I got it, you got it. And if you guys need anything, you want to come on again, promote your next projects or whatever, the doors are wide open for y'all, man.
Thank you so much. Man. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys jumping on with us and giving us a little of your time, man. And we're gonna be promoting this doc, man, for you, because we feel strongly that it's something that everyone needs to see.
Thank you, man. It's been like Bond said, surreal. It's like, okay, and I guess you're in the middle of it. Busy, and then you don't really get to relax until it's done. It's like, oh, okay, I guess maybe we did all right,
Yeah,
maybe we did all right, So thank you, appreciate
all the accolades that are coming your way, man.
We're trying.